Hello my friends and welcome to Paulina Art. Today I'm going to be painting this autumn vibes composition with a couple of pumpkins and a sunflower. In this video I'm going to show you how I created the background, how I sketched the composition, and how I did this painting. Today I'm working with a Mart acrylic paint. I'm going to leave a link up here with the reviews I've done for this acrylic paint. If you would like to see how I painted autumn vibes, stay with me and let's paint together. The colors that I'm using today are purple, burnt amber or dark brown, vermilion, raw sienna, medium yellow, sap green, and titanium white. Of course, you can use similar colors that you have at home. Today, I'm working on a 12 by 12 canvas, which I have already prepared and done my background. For the background, I mix a little bit of gesso in this cup, and I added some drops of burnt amber and purple to create this nice dark purpley color. And about a third down, I painted this area just with the purple and brown to create the area where the pumpkins are going to be sitting, just to ground the painting a little bit. This is the sketch that I've created for this painting, and I'm going to show you with very easy techniques how to sketch this on the canvas. And it doesn't matter what size of canvas you're working with, these techniques will work regardless of the size of your canvas. So I'm going to divide the canvas in 4 equal quadrants, and I'm using just a piece of white chalk to do the sketch. So I'm going to divide it in 4 quadrants, approximately the same size, just so I can place the pumpkins where I want them. The first pumpkin is going to be in this area, so I'm going to draw a circle, and I want to leave this area up here. I don't want the pumpkin to go right up to the top of the canvas. So I'm going to draw a circle. This is going to be a large pumpkin. And I'm going to flatten up the circle a little bit at the top and the bottom, just to give it more of a pumpkin look. And then I'm going to do the sections of the pumpkin. And up here, I'm going to round it up a bit to create the center, and I'm going to do the stem like that. And if you don't like how it turned out, you can always erase and start again. That's a nice thing of sketching with chalk. I'm going to do the second pumpkin in this corner, and this pumpkin is going to be coming out a little bit because it's sitting in front of this one. So I'm going to do a bit of a square where I'm going to place him. I want him about there. And I'm going to do a circle again in here. This is a smaller pumpkin. And again, I'm going to flatten up so it's not totally round. Okay, I'm going to do the sections again. So we have the two pumpkins right there. And on this area, I'm going to draw a nice large sunflower. The sunflower is leaning against this large pumpkin. So I'm going to put the center, a circle here for the center of the sunflower. And then I'm going to measure. The leaves are going to be about the same size as the center. So I'm just going to do some lines here. I'm going to flatten a bit this area because the petals of the sunflower are going to be on the ground. Okay, this is the starting point. I'm going to add leaves and things like that later, but I'm going to start by putting a base coat on the pumpkins so I don't lose my sketch because the chalk comes out very easily. I'm going to start by putting a base coat on the small pumpkin, and I'm going to mix raw sienna, which is this beautiful light yellowy brown, with some white. This is the color I want. And I'm going to add a base coat, but I'm going to leave the lines that I have sketched here that define the pumpkin. I don't want it to be like a big blob of color. I still want to see the pumpkin. I don't want to leave a really large gap, but just enough so I can see. And on the back here we can see the top as well. The stem is going to be right in the center here. For the large pumpkin, I'm going to use the same color, but I'm going to add a drop of vermilion, which is a very bright orange. And I'm going to go over the leaves, the area where the leaves are going to be. I'm now going to pick up some burnt umber. This is the dark brown that I use for the background. And I'm going to dab the center of the sunflower here. And I'm going to mix some vermilion with medium yellow to create this color. And I'm going to dab the center of the sunflower. I'm just dabbing to create the effect of the flower, the center. I'm going to add a little more brown in here. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to let that dry. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of the same color I use for the small pumpkin, and I'm going to add a dab of purple. And I'm going to start creating some shadow on the bottom and on the side of this pumpkin, and I'm basically just going to flick the brush up like this. And by using the purple as the shadow, I'm incorporating the purple purple I used on the background, and this creates a very pretty effect. And I'm just blending up with a clean brush. I just rinse the brush and I'm blending it. And I'm using the same color again, adding more white. I'm going to add a bit of highlight at the top here, just to give the small pumpkin more dimension. Okay, I'm going to let this one dry for now. Let's continue with the large one. And to the base color that I use, I'm going to add more orange, more of the vermilion. And I'm going to add a little bit at the bottom. And again, I'm just flicking the brush. I'm creating a bit of the shape. I'm following the shape of these sections. I'm creating this roundish illusion of the pumpkin. And I'm using this orange for the shadows of this large pumpkin. And I'm picking up the same base color. And I'm going to add more yellow to create a lighter color. And I added a little bit of white to the mix, just to add some shine on some areas, maybe towards the center here. And while this dries, I'm going to go over the sunflower and just brighten up the centers. I'm adding a little bit of yellow just to make it brighter. I'm still using the same round brush, and I'm going to pick up sap green and mix it with the burnt umber, the dark brown. I want to create a nice dark green, and with this color I'm going to emphasize this area of the pumpkin, the divisions in here. I'm going to add some movement here. And when I'm doing this, I'm emphasizing the shape of the sections just by turning them a bit. And we can add some, we can dab it in some areas too. This is how these pumpkins look. Lots of texture. I'm just dabbing the brush to create that texture. I'm going to let this dry. Let's go back to this little pumpkin. And I'm going to be using some floating medium now. And a small angle brush. You can use a flat brush if you prefer. And I'm just going to do these wedges of the small pumpkin. And I'm going to pick up some of the floating medium on the brush and remove the excess. And I'm going to pick up purple at the toe, just a little drop of purple. And the color that I mix to paint the small pumpkin. And I'm going to blend a bit these two colors. Like this. I'm going to start creating these divisions on the pumpkin. I'm going to bring it down like this. And I can add a little bit at the top as well. Just going to add the nice shadows and the divisions. And up here as well. I don't want any gaps between the two pumpkins. And I have white with a tiny little bit of yellow. I'm going to add more highlights in here. And I can add the same color and add some highlights on the center of the flower. I'm going to pick up now brown and purple. This is my dark brown, the burnt umber, and some of the purple. And I'm creating this really dark brown. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow here underneath the pumpkins. That's going to help me round them as well. Clean up the bottoms and round them up a little bit. I'm going to work with a small brush now. And with the same brown green that I use for this part, I'm going to do the stem. And I'm going to add some vermilion in here. Just to add some highlight, make it more colorful. And I'm going to add a little bit of green. I'm going to do the same with this one, but for this one I'm going to sketch it because I haven't done the sketch. So I'm going to go up and turn, and then I'm going to fill it in like that. And I'm going to do the same with the brown green. I'm going to paint this one. just like I did the large one. The same thing, just a smaller stem. And I'm going to add some vermilion with a bit of yellow just to add some color. These are just lines following the stem. Let's work a little bit on the sunflower. I want to add some leaves around the sunflower. So I'm going to sketch them. One is coming up here. These leaves are like little triangular shape like that. Maybe we can add one here. Like that. And I'm going to use again my small round brush to put a base coat on the leaves. For the base coat for the leaves, I'm going to mix green with yellow. And I'm going to do this before I paint the sunflower, because I want the petals to come over the leaves. And this one. We can add some leaves in here too. Leaves always look beautiful on a painting. I'm going to be using now a flat brush for the leaves, and I chose this brush because I can see it's large enough for me to finish the leaves. And I'm going to pick up some floating medium, make sure the brush is covered and remove the excess. And I'm going to pick up green at one end and white at the other. I'm going to blend these two colors. And I'm going to add yellow with the white just to warm it up a little bit. And this is what I'm going to use for the leaves. I'm going to do the ones that are behind first, and this one is behind that one. And I'm moving the canvas because it's easier for me, and I want the light to be on top. So I'm just going to do it very easily, just by pressing the brush like this. Just pressing and sliding. For the other side of the leaf, I'm going to put the lighter color in the center and the dark towards the outside. And I'm going to do the same thing. And then with the dark part, I'm going to do the center here. And I'm going to do this one. Okay, I'm going to do the light part of the leaf this way, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to press and follow like this. Follow the leaf. And then the other side, I'm going to do the light part towards the center. And I'm going to do this part. And those two leaves are done. I'm going to do the rest exactly that way. For the sunflower, I'm going to use a larger angle brush. You can use a flat brush if you prefer. And I choose this size because I feel this one is going to create the nice petals that I want for the sunflower. And I can go back with a chalk and resketch here where the petals are going to go. They're going to be larger up here and shorter coming this way to create the illusion that the sunflower is sitting on the ground. I'm going to pick up some of the floating medium on my brush and cover the brush and remove the excess. I'm going to pick up vermilion at the toe and yellow at the heel, and I'm going to blend the two colors. And I'm going to add a little bit of white, just a tiny tad of white with the yellow to create some brightness. And I'm going to start adding the petals of the sunflower. I'm going to press here on the brown edge. I can always go back and retouch, but this is going to be my guide. And I'm going to press the brush and start creating the petals. And the ones at the bottom, I'm going to make them shorter like this, just to create the illusion the flower is sitting on the surface. And I'm going to add a few just to guide me. I'm going to let this layer dry for a few minutes and apply a second layer. I'm going to add another layer of petals overlapping these ones. And because the background is so dark, you might have to go over the first layer of petals. I did that on a few of them. And I'm going to continue adding overlapping layers until I'm happy. I want this flower to look very pretty and full. And I'm adding a little more white with the yellow so the overlapping petals really show. And with a small filbert brush, I'm going to add the vermilion in this area. I'm just flicking the brush to create the center of the flower and filling any gaps that I see. And with a small round brush and the dark brown, the burnt umber, I'm just going to touch up the edges, the border of the flower. Once all the paint is dry, you can pick up a dry brush and just sweep away all the markings we did with chalk. Okay, so the painting is just about done. At this point, you can look at the painting and see what it needs. You can add more highlight in some areas or more leaves, whatever you feel the painting needs. I have some green on my small round brush, and I'm just going to add some details in here. Just some small twirlies. I have to do them a little bit lighter. I can't see them. They need to be with a lighter green. And to finish this painting, I'm going to splatter a little bit of orange around the flower and the pumpkins, just enough to add some brightness. Okay, my friends, the painting is done. I splattered some of the orangey yellow around the pumpkins, and I added a few little leaves in some areas just to add a little more green to the painting. Okay, my friends, I'm going to give you a close-up of the final painting. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you learn something new. If you like this video, please give it a like, comment below, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any future content from me. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.